in a 2-all draw, and that also means as well that for Liverpool they just have 1 point yes to secure the English title. It is not over until it is over. It is not done until it's done. We also had the Coppa Italia semi-finals. Yes, that was between AC Milan up against Inter Milan, with AC Milan winning that one 3-goals, forgetting that treble they would have also wanted. Remember, they are still in the hunt for the FA Champions League. There are also reports as well that yes, Manchester United are set to trade Manchester United. Apart from that, Real Madrid's Eduardo Camavinga is also set to be out for Newcastle after being admitted at the hospital due to his health reasons. And for a captain, just a captain, but also a legend, talking about Jamie Vardy, set this is that talking about this summer. And yes, we also have news talking about yes, and they'll be representing the country in this event for this this year's World Championships. Unfortunately exempted from participating at the Paralympics. Rather, we also have Chidi Okezie as well. A quick yes, switch as well to tennis. Of course, the Madrid Open still going very, very strong. This is Aď Tᴏᴏ, otherwise known as Off the Show, and so that means as a tradition, yes, 60s, the 70s, the 80s, as well as the early 2000s, especially to one that is sitting directly in front of me, ᴏᴜᴜ.
Right now, because I'm sitting down to do the show. Inter Milan are just leading the superior title with 2 games to go. Inter Milan won the league title with 4 games to go, but it's always been a matter of when, not if. Our first season for us now, you can hide under the run, the Cinderella run in the Champions. You think you've had a good season, injuries or not. I know a lot of people would open the phone lines and call and names that you want to ask yourself that what exactly they went
12
in the league.
Okay,
they went into yesterday's game with 12 draws. Excuse me. And winning
positions this season. Yes,
that's drawn
exactly.
or lost. 7 of those had ended up in draws. So 9 matches. So if you look at teams come at Liverpool and Newcastle,
they'll play Newcastle. Exactly.
They'll play PSG, even if they qualify for the Champions League final and they are riding on the wave of that momentum. But so it was a game you needed to win yesterday, so that at the Emirates Stadium next week Tuesday. And so I think the Palace away from, they've won 7 of their last 11 matches away from 7 minutes.
7 minutes
Waiting to be substituted. Wow. Arsenal were playing, they did not allow the game to go. Maybe it's Saliba, and maybe it's David Raya, and maybe it's that's the second in 3 games.
Exactly.
He
for
did
Saliba,
the same thing against Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu.
And David, I think he also did a mistake against Newcastle as well.
I mean, anytime you want to play from the back, if you're a team that plays from the back, you should know that you were
of focus.
Is lack of focus. The fact that you know that you don't have anything you're fighting for. The league did in 2020 or thereabouts. Arsenal formed guard of honor for Newcastle. Tottenham wants to do. I won't be surprised if Tottenham loses.
Palace tweet on X.
Yes, so whatever happens, and they are safe from relegation. So the entire body, soul, and spirit, past and present, is fixated on Bଲୋklint's game.
Do you think that clash against Liverpool on Sunday will just open themselves up?
See, there's no opening up. And they know they only needed a draw. There's nothing Tottenham Hotspur wants to do. Tottenham Hotspur that cannot beat Nottingham Forest.
Exactly.
I think is done and dusted. For Tottenham Hotspur,
they know that whoever they are facing,
they will play either Manchester United or Athletic Bilbao. Final will get the same number of tickets.
Exactly.
But it's your home.
You want that Metropolitan Stadium.
No matter how many slots they try to balance space, but for Arsenal, they needed to have won that game yesterday.
It's not on first.
There is Newcastle,
Chelsea for Champions next season.
See the games?
Well, maybe
see the games Chelsea will still play. They'll still play Everton.
Against that Liverpool, I think I'll give them the benefit of doubt.
Because lead early gives you some luxuries. That's exactly, and then you probably also want to say that, hey, I won the league with Arsenal. The title is already in the bag. You're already champions elect.
Some players in Liverpool's ranks that didn't get games over the course of the season.
It's difficult.
Very difficult.
Because first off, the league is wrapped up. They've won it already. So their minds, Arsenal will tell you that they lost the league to Man City 2 seasons ago by 4 points. Those are like the icing on the cake,
exactly.
For a team that wins the league on that game yesterday.
All right.
The fact that they also had
5-0
by Newcastle.
Yeah, 5-0.
Forget that. That was at Crystal Palace. So he's on a crazy run.
He has come on leaps and bounds.
We also saw his performance at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to be careful. I saw the players jumping from tackles yesterday.
Everybody
wants to stay. I like Arteta's message to Sterling. Use you when I return. I'm not signing you. Arsenal will be back. So he will just use Chelsea to route and go to another club. Over to Man City, deliver the league titles to Man City. Almost came to Chelsea, had this brilliant moment in the FA Cup. Yeah. And Arsenal needed it. He had gone to warm up earlier. He brought in Kerry empty.
Yes.
Did you see during Timber he didn't give him the ball. He cut in and he just told Raheem Sterling that I don't count as a part of this team. Arteta's decision in the last few years going to Man City to bring in Gabriel would be a mistake. Arteta would never want to leave PSG. You didn't bring in Asensio. You want to bring in a Raheem Sterling. And look at Raheem Sterling right now. So I think Arsenal should have won that game yesterday to build a very healthy lead against the chasing Parks, because they have gotten the job done.
Because they led twice.
They just put themselves in. They still lose against Newcastle.
Yes.
So imagine Man City winning the FA Cup and finishing higher
than Leicester or Arsenal, Newcastle, as well as Southampton.
Can't make it to the Champions League anymore.
UEFA.
They beat them again.
Home and away.
They beat Manchester United. Why can't they beat Arsenal?
Beating Manchester City.
So everybody will beat Ipswich Town except at Chelsea.
Well, the first leg this week, 1 week, more or less a week or less away from now. Let's quickly talk about tennis before we switch back out of football and talk about the Madrid world number 3. I beg your pardon. Said he had injured his hamstring. About also taking step by step. I couldn't practice the entire week. I needed to listen to my body and also make the right decision. And also for Carlos Alcaraz, is a 2-time champion in Madrid, Garoon. I was also able to resume the match with the Danish international going on to win 7-6. 8-6 Open starts on the 25th of May. All right, let's also take a look at other fixtures as has already ended. It ended, I think, around 2 hours ago, thereabouts. Yes, ended 6-3, 6-4 in favor of Miracle Gas. Swiatek also progressed to the next round. And for the men's singles round of 128, the game currently in this one. And for the women's singles round of 64 clash, we have Diana Ayashrimka. Yes, for that one to kick off. We also had another game as well. Before the end of the show, we should be able to get other results. Won that one, the Canadian won 6-1, 6-2 to also progress. 4 ended 6-4, 6-3 in favor of Donna. The championship, just like we said, Nigeria have Alaba Akintola. We have Favor Ashe. We also have Carlington Amunagba. We have the 4x100 meters. We have Alaba Akintola still. Favor Ashe, Favor of Olympics, Udo Owozoroke. And then for the women's 4x100 meters race, we have Favor of Philly, Obiamoso. I don't want to also call Toby Express. And for the mixed 4x400 meters race, we have Chidi Okeze. Yes, he also participated in the Paralympic as well back in 2024. We also have Ifeanyi Natania, and also at the Athletic Federation of Nigeria, just like I said, 3-day event aiming for automatic qualification in this event cross board. For the English Premier League, just like off a set piece, and then for Crystal Palace.
Well, that was Crystal Palace 16th goal this season from set piece.
Wow.
They started the season really poorly. They grew into the season, and then as game yesterday, a fantastic finish for Kiwi's first goal, a new dynamics to Arsenal's. You had Edin Keita marking Kiwi, training material direct from the training ground, and then he just flipped the ball, and it was a fantastic finish. But Palace had won yesterday. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't have questioned the quality of that.
Manchester United to have considered more goals from set pieces this season,
and they've also scored
more than any other side. Now, everyone. I mean, for now, that's the set piece coach of Arsenal. And despite Nikola Jova's brilliant 20 coupon, but then opponents use that against you as well.
If there's one thing you can give to Arsenal, apart from the set pieces and all, after Ipswich, they scored 4. Arsenal have scored 106 goals in all competitions this season. They've been able to score goals up front. Even you have to give them credit for that. Yeah, they concede from set pieces. Well, everyone where Arsenal had Senderos and Joan Mustafi.
There's Kushani.
Arsenal got during right back in the Premier League this season. You also look at Calafiori as well. Although it's been a bit, they're up there with anybody. They can attack set pieces as well. They can live a bit uncomfortable on the ball.
Gabriel is the leader.
Gabriel has last season Saliba got his flowers. This season they call Saliba the Rolls Royce of him.
In the side,
5 goals now with him. Saliba attacks more.
The ball better than Gabriel.
He has more pace, so anytime he attacks and overlaps,
exactly,
is what is making.
Because Kiwi
errors leading to goals. 2 in the last 3 matches. Few years since he came back from his loan. Where he was voted as the
player of the year,
on team of the season, and the young player of the season. He came over to us. But you are playing against a Mateta that is physically even bigger than you. Always be risk you are exposed to when you are building from the back.
Exactly.
A lot of people have played the ball to square it behind me, to stick it to Raya. Unfortunately,
he was stubborn
on the game. And then if you look at the pattern of both errors that is done against Crystal Palace and against
and the attacker is coming.
What's the ball doing with you? So those pressures will not repeat itself against the
neutral fans of that happens. Talking about the UEFA Champions League final, the European place push, yes, by defeating Las Palmas 1-0, and for Celta Vigo, also they defeated Villarreal at home, probably regretting why they decided to stay at the Basque Islands. Now to 4 points. This Spanish
in 2025,
but then they also
in all competition especially where there's a lot at stake. Some people are fighting the Europa League, the Conference League. Everybody is fighting for something, right?
Yeah.
Barcelona can still win the treble.
They can still win. The Copa del Rey final is this weekend.
Exactly. It will be difficult for you to think they can maintain that level of their games. You will manage to know that this was not a good day in the office.
Just win ugly.
Sustaining the mark of a great team.
Yeah.
You don't always have the luxury of winning
big. Yes.
7-0, 5 odds were against you, but they were still able to pull the game out.
Exactly.
First led by 3-0, even though they lost the second leg.
Let's talk about Robert Lewandowski as well. His absence now would be missing Robert Lewandowski, because they also reports that they might be missing the entirety of the season.
He scored his 32nd goal in
all competitions.
Was it 32nd or 30 goals? For goals and assists, he's been very instrumental, not just even as a striker, but as a leader.
As a leader as well.
A team that has a lot of young and inexperienced players like Lamine Yamal. Those guys are young.
Dani Olmo, yeah.
So there's a Roberto Lewandowski, one day curated for him. Yes, now.
Yeah, it was not funny.
He's seen that, done that at the top level. So that's
the goals.
So there's no way you'd have a player that are giving you. They've been able to dig deep, get the wins. Daniel.
Yeah.
And they beating Madrid.
Exactly.
So the Copa del Rey final this time around.
Bobby Charlton.
Ancelotti came out really hard on him. He needs to shoot when he needs to. And Adagula. You know that Adagula is embracing that top level even better than him.
So exactly.
I think.
And then the absence of Kylian Mbappé, so that means there's going to be one slot
and an opportunity for Madrid to win one trophy. And that's why when we were talking about you to go a calendar year, I'm not saying a season. And go a calendar year. They may not win anything this season, but next 10, 20, 30 years from now, you look at your cabinet and you look at the mega this, you want this. Nobody cares whether you score 400 goals for it. Lewandowski, his absence is being missed. I really hope he won't. The same thing with Arsenal.
Exactly.
If Arsenal makes it to the final of the Champions League, Kai Havertz could be back.
As you away from him as well, seeing off Genoa yesterday, so goes to Nice.
Those have struggled.
They are really struggling.
They've lost. That was their 4th loss.
Games draws. All right.
Now win 5 and lose 5.
Yeah, because that's 15 points.
Draw 10. Draw 5, then draw 10. Because they're using the same energy to play the draw. Liverpool had lost 2. And you won and lose 3. And you expect that people will think
exactly. I agree with that.
In the era
maybe
of
Man City
form.
Yeah, the semi-finals at the first semi-finals of the Coppa Italia for placing the finals. Third goal in the 85th minute to send AC Milan into the finals of the Coppa. Bowling up against Empoli will be later tonight by 8 progress through to the finals to face off AC Milan in the finals. But then a strong goalless draw as Vivo of Sevilla winning that one up against NEC Breda. That game is currently at later tonight. Let's also talk about other stories now for D has now resumed work at the club's training center after recovering from the illness. Eddie Howe had been hospitalized earlier this month and missed league matches against Manchester. Delighted to confirm that Eddie Howe has returned to his duties at the club training center. Eddie Howe had reached to Newcastle. I think that's an added advantage for them.
Especially
wow. Wow.
Yeah. Did you not see where Pep Guardiola said about this year in Champions League alone? That's a lot of money.
Exactly.
So if you know how much money, look at Chelsea. Chelsea are playing in the Conference League, but they're going to the World Club competition. I think for Newcastle, especially with the run, the tight, like the
Chelsea.
we're going to put Arsenal back in this conversation, right? Because we feel like, hey, we've got a chance to get this done. They've won the Carabao Cup. It's a good one for them. But 3 games he missed, goes to nothing. Then they got humbled by Aston Villa. So he's back now. And then I think it's just the timing of his
search for Stamina 98.3 and you also get the opportunity to see our faces also via website, our official website www.search for Stamina 98.3 and you also are listening. Maiwa Gabriel says between Pablo Torre of
I think Aragula embraced the full moment he's got.
The
quality I think crowded defense and still be able to pick it out. I spent about 2
years.
I think Aragula had been
of themselves they've really not been given the chance to prove them for Adagula has contributed. I think Adagula he has had assists. I think 6 assists already this season. So I think Adagula for me too. All right, guys. Yes, we have. I met back next season. Mike Fexton for my bullet bar. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Already
Kusanov too as well.
I think next season. Costanos
exactly ever since then.
I think next season Man City will come back and it will be crazy. I'm sure Gundogan also would leave. Bernardo Silva could announce
Ederson exactly. The goalkeeper.
I think he's actually even leaving. I think they will come back, and if you've seen their flash of brilliance in the last few games they played, you see that their league is going to be
4 weeks in already.
It's going to be tough. That's why UEFA had created a of the Premier League, so they are more like using they're more like using the Premier League title. I think for Man City, is giving sign of the fact that they are coming back. It's been a very tough season for them, and Arsenal fails to win the FA Cup. Man City have had a better season.
All right, let's also get the pick calls. The phone line has been buzzing. 036,000 410 036,000 410 is the dial. But before we also do that as well, Jamie Vardy is also set to bring his 13-year stay at Leicester to an end at the end of the season. I'm not even happy that he won the Premier League back in 2016. Meaning he has won 1 Premier League and then he did like this. He did the 0 sign to 36,000 410 36,000 410. Good evening, welcome to the show. Oh, thank you so much. 036,000 410. Good evening to you. Welcome on, sir.
People are coming back stronger and better. We're coming to week at slow them totally. And I want to start to. Too many games, too many errors. It needs to have 100% concentration from whatever.
Oh no. Let's try to be serious. In as much as we are also banned. Welcome to the show.
Hello, boss. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Baba. What's the name and where you calling from?
If the Arsenal fans why they draw that match, they go there and give a post. They play attack. And Arsenal win their match. Arsenal go see win this.
Good evening, guys. Arsenal will not win the UEFA Champions League final. In fact, they didn't go even.
He was a better striker than Harry Kane.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Big respect to all of the records. All records are meant to be broken.
Yeah.
But you see your name being engraved on go down to the grave with you. 1 Premier League title. Yeah. 1 FA Cup.
Yeah.
Leicester City under Claudio Ranieri winning that Premier League, finishing about, I think, 8 points ahead of Arsenal. That was supposed to be Arsenal's season. Leicester City still came back now. They've gotten relegated, came back, they've gotten relegated again. In fact, they got relegated this time around by one of Manchester United's greatest players of all time. I don't know what Leicester City wants.
Did you see his comment on X? The way he was angry.
Yes.
He said,
when they got relegated, I think he had the opportunity. He told them that he's committed to. Maybe a lot of people don't know. Jamie Vardy had a very bad upbringing.
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy got into football top level at almost 27. Jamie Vardy trains every day at Leicester City. They've managed his workload at that top level of Leicester City.
Yeah.
I not mention maybe Morgan, Danny Drink, Riyad Mahrez.
Exactly.
You have to mention those legendary starters. The fact that he stayed back and he still continued to be the face of Leicester City. Exactly. I don't know. Maybe they'll name a stadium.
All right, let's also leave all of that very quickly and come back home and talk. Rumors and reported that
Man U fans will tell Osimhen not to come to Man U.
Yes.
So it's one thing for Osimhen to score. It's another thing for the opponent to outscore you. I want this
in the world. Yeah, you just scored the 30th goal of the season.
How you would want to go to a team that will probably finish 15th or 16th.
But they could, yes.
So playing in the Champions League does not mean you fix all your problems.
But Man U calling Victor Osimhen is 26 years old. Is going into his prime years as a striker.
I
don't think Liverpool have the money for him.
If they want, his release clause is cheap.
150 million.
It's 50 million.
Is it 50 million?
No, you see, it's clear though. Osimhen wants to come to England. That's
very clear.
But if he's coming to England,
no, I'm telling Gabriel Jesus.
Can we get serious on this show?
Very quickly.
Victor Osimhen has a release clause that could be low. That huge amount of money. Why don't you put it on him? Why would even Man yourself?
Pake, thank you so much for joining us on Sport Cruise Live from 19.3 FM. So, any Man fan is either listening to us or live here in the studio. Now you want to call it. All right, thank you so much, guys. Up next is Way Back Waves with Rio Jao, and today's good. Waiting for you.
Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to organize something.
I know, right? Yeah. What exactly should we be expecting on the show? I can see a keyboard in the studio, and I know a guitar will also be coming in.
Exactly. So we're going to be having Acoustic Unplugged, an evening of soulful covers. A very good friend of mine is a pianist, guitarist, singer-songwriter, as well as a music producer. Because I know you're a drummer.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Thursday.